I thought I could.
What's up then?
Let's settle down, boys and girls. Settle down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right.
Alright, so this is group number 1's video. Enjoy.
Who we got here? Let's start from there.
Destiny.
What is your name?
I'm Destiny.
And Melissa.
Morgan.
Dylan.
And Nader. Group
I
1.
was early. This is the question for the day, boys and girls who obviously needed Ritalin when they were younger. How can we,
The freak. Okay.
how can we analyze IUPUI using the CCO4 flows? Please describe the flows and provide examples of interactions that illustrate them.
No, this is an organization. And what are the 4 flows? One of the 4 flows is like adding people to the organization. Yeah. Scheduling. And then there is like competition. And then there's
Is there organizational or?
I don't know. Wait, I took notes on this. What the heck?
This is one of the worst videos ever made. Nobody would even want to pirate this. This has been.
I'd want to pirate this.
Arr.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Oh, I'm crying.
This is actually, not bad because this is usually how it is. We just edit ourselves out for the first video, but if John would like to be more entertained, I feel like this is a little entertaining.
There's organizational self-structuring, membership negotiation, activity coordination, and institutional positioning.
True. You're right.
So is there technically 5 then?
Okay.
Alright.
So, like Morgan said, the 4 flows are organizational and self-structuring, institutional positioning, activity coordination.
And membership negotiation.
Okay.
So let's kind of just see if we can define each one and maybe give an example from IUPUI or as students
Mhm.
as
That's what I was
IUPUIs.
thinking.
Okay. So, do you want to start with organizational self-structuring?
Yeah, let's just kind of go down the list here
Okay.
if somebody doesn't mind reading it.
So I'll just read this paragraph from it.
Like the definition.
The self-structuring process is deliberately carried out through communication among role holders and groups.
Shouldn't we give our own definitions of it though?
So, like, what I see from that is, it's like groups that we have on campus. They're ran and structured through a student body with an advisor as their leader. And they run that. They're in control of everything that goes on with that. And they create things to do that can bring in a crowd. So, like, bring in more students, or they'll do a tabling kind of thing to attract students to the table, and they can either give them, like, free things or, like, spread
donations.
information through, like, give them information.
Can't it also be like when people are applying to like schools and they send? No, I guess that would go with like advertising. Like when you get like pamphlets about like IUPUI. Do you know?
I'm really sorry.
Like, do you know when you get the little like?
Like a newsletter or?
I guess.
Brochure.
Yeah, the brochures.
Oh.
You just get them in the news from like every single like university to try and get you to go there.
Oh, right.
Would that go for like membership negotiation?
Maybe tours. Like, more in your area of what you're talking about. Like, when people do tours, like, they come to the college and they get some free stuff, like a shirt, a water bottle, and stuff like that.
That works too, yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a way to entice people to join you.
Right. It's kind of an incentive.
Incentivized communication.
So we'd be membership negotiation now.
Oh.
Which our organizations are necessarily composed of, are distinct from individual members because humans are not inherently members of organizations. Negotiatory communication must occur to incorporate them. It links to an organization to its members by establishing and maintaining relationships.
So is that like when IUPUI gives tours to people?
Kind of, yeah. That would probably fall in it, along with them recruiting students to work on campus for them. Because an example here is practices or in recruitment, potential members are evaluated. Both parties must agree to a relationship, and that's like us agreeing to the terms and policies that campus has, and also with the job recruitment on campus that socializes the students and gets them involved more with the student body, which will help them bring more of the student body in for job recruitment for IUPUI.
Okay.
So that was membership negotiation.
Next would be activity coordination.
Activity coordination is like having events that brings everyone together and communicating in general, not just talking.
Right.
Weeks of welcome.
Weeks
So,
of
yeah,
welcome.
Weeks of welcome is one.
They have a lot of stuff during weeks of welcome that kind of like introduce you to like the campus and you know get to meet people.
What was
Something
the
stuff like
summer
this.
event where they had like a little fair,
Oh, that's Jagapalooza.
Jagapalooza?
That's one. Jagathon would be one.
Jagathon,
We
yeah.
bring in not just the student body, but like Riley kids and Riley families.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I forgot about
one way
Stole my answer.
that they achieve this is through the
Oh.
channel of email, because they email us like when
That's
certain things are
true.
getting ready to happen, like certain events.
There's also
Almost always get a newsletter.
yeah, like newsletters, emails. There's not just only brochures, but like flyers around campus.
Well, if you like, at one point, like if you went to an event beforehand, and like let's say like there was like the sororities and the fraternities, and they have their tables, and then you get like their Instagram or like you sign up to be on their email list, so then you get stuff from them too.
That's true.
And then
Institutional positioning.
oh,
It links the organization to the environment outside the organization at a macro level. So like
At what level?
a macro.
Macro.
My bad. Macro level. Macro level, yeah.
so it's institutional positioning is dealing with other people and organizations. Oh, I think that's where in the book it gives an example of fraternities and sororities. Yeah, right.
I feel like that for that, like they're always linking up with outside organizations. They always have their philanthropy that they strive for, and they'll pick each sorority and each fraternity has a different philanthropy that they strive to achieve for. And that always involves some kind of like nonprofit or just like big organization or like researching money for a good cause.
Does organization also? I think organization also works with like. I know, LSA, which is the Latino Student Association, worked with Faith in Indiana. That's an organization. That would be an organization. So they work with that organization with like all of like the immigrant issues and stuff. And I work with them too, and we did like phone banks and stuff. So that works with that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any more we can say about it, because I mean the book really just says, it literally says Greek groups at the end of that whole section of institutional positioning.
One thing that we could possibly tie into this is the chapter mentions ethnography, and it's like mapping out your social discourse or kind of discovering who you are within a certain culture. As we come to college, we don't necessarily know like
Where we
who
fit
we
in.
are or where we fit in, and there's these organizations that kind of help us and guide us in kind of shaping who we are as individuals long after we're graduated and out of here.
Yeah, because a lot of people say, I mean, first off, IUPUI is an organization as a whole.
Yeah.
plus there are different organizations within IUPUI. So just being a part of IUPUI and looking into different clubs and stuff, then you start to find where you belong in the school.
People that might share like values or something like that with you, and that you can communicate with.
Yeah, and sometimes you even find out that you don't belong in that certain culture,
Yeah.
and that's why a lot of people like transfer from schools and stuff. So
Maybe, do we have any personal stories that we would like to talk about with organizations within IUPUI?
I can talk about my experience with Jagathon.
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
So, this is my second year in Jagathon. We are a group, a student organized group on
I
campus.
think we can start all over because he was covering it.
Thanks, Nader.
Sorry.
That's okay.
My butt hurts.
So I have been with Jagathon for 2 years. We are a student organized group on campus, and we collaborate with Riley Children's Hospital. And in that, we are connected with Children Miracle Network hospitals. And so every year we have our big event, and at the start of that event until the next year's event, we raise money all year long for the kids at Riley, and everything that we raise goes towards pediatric cancer research. And with that, we bring in Riley families and meet Riley kids and have a whole bunch of different events going throughout the year. And we linked up with different student organizations, like we'll meet up with some of the sororities and fraternities and join together, and like we'll raise money together for Riley, such as the Teeter Totter-a-thon, where one of the sororities will have a teeter totter going for like 26 hours in Taylor Courtyard. But we all work together and raise money for Riley, and then put on a big event for all the students at the end of the year, or beginning of second semester, however you want to look at it. And I think it's a great student-led organization.
That's pretty cool. I wanted to go to Jagathon, but
You should go this upcoming year.
yeah, I should.
Is a very positive anecdote, which just so happens to be collegial stories, which is another vocab word in the chapter that I almost forgot about.
Thank
Thanks
God
for
you
bringing
did.
it up. Isn't an organization literally this group right now?
Yeah, could be an organization. Anything can be an organization. I feel like anything.
No, because technically in the book it says if you don't have all four flows, then not.
But it's not. Interesting.
But then, like,
So you need to have all four flows to be an organization.
yes.
Which are.
But I don't understand. Like, can't an organization still be like good without just like one?
Like,
Or is it
example
like
what?
strictly four?
Alright, let's see what you're saying. Like, so you're saying
So, like,
So like if an
It's
organization
possible.
didn't have one of the four, just
it
had
still
three.
could be, is what you're
Could
saying.
it?
Could it still be? She's asking. Like,
yeah.
that's a good question. Maybe one that we might have to ask Joan
And
in
could it-
person.
And could it still be successful?
Alright, let's think of an organization, right? And then see if it has all four flows. And then try taking one of those flows away, see how it would operate.
IPY.
Okay, IVR. Well,
Okay.
let's say that it didn't have. Let's say that it didn't have events, activity coordinating.
Okay.
So,
So that's like the Jackathon thing, right?
I-
Included. You say, like the flu shots that are going on right now. You say that's not
So
there.
all of that would be gone.
All that kind of stuff.
Disappeared.
I feel like without anything like that, they wouldn't have a student body either, or it would be very small, because part of the college experience is getting involved
So,
in trying new things, learning new
Right.
things. And it's just, if a school doesn't have things to do, the students are going to get bored and they'll be like, this school is jank,
Right.
and they're going to transfer somewhere else.
Number one, they're
Could
going to
we-
be like, why did I pay thousands of dollars to this school?
True.
Number two, if they take away our flu shots, we're going to get sick and miss class.
So then I think that takes away. Okay, that
So-
takes away. That would affect.
Okay, so let's say it does
That
this
would
activity.
affect membership negotiation. Because if you didn't have any activities, then you wouldn't have anything to advertise to other people to come here. So that would affect that. What
So
if
we can't have
didn't
these
have
two taken
competition?
away.
No,
Like,
we
okay.
can't.
So what does
Because
that
they
mean?
affect each other.
Right. So we got what else left?
So that was membership negotiation
self-structuring.
and activity.
Okay,
So
so
structuring.
self-structuring.
And positioning.
Positioning. Positioning is like the competition between like.
Wouldn't that be effect?
Or like no, that would be working with organizations. You wouldn't necessarily have to work with organizations, would you?
But I mean, if we don't have any events or anything at school,
We kind of do here at IUPUI. I mean, any organization within IUPUI would have to have some sort of permission from IUPUI to do whatever it wants to do.
that'll probably be our only like source of like events is through other organizations because
But
we
if you-
wouldn't have any of our own.
If you think about it, though, IUPUI isn't like its own entity, is it? Isn't it owned by?
Oh yeah, because
IU
there's like IU,
Bloomington,
yeah,
or-
and Purdue and all that.
So,
I don't know if it's owned by IU Bloomington though.
or is it
They're all like just,
They're all on the
just
same
one
street.
separate campuses.
one?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
just all one.
They're all public schools.
But it falls under like the Indiana University umbrella
Yeah.
Mhm.
because there's like IPFW, Bloomington. There's here. There's probably
lot.
Kokomo.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't there Lafayette? No.
It's the same thing with Purdue.
Maybe.
South Bend.
South
Yeah.
Bend. True.
Yeah.
So then no.
So
I say,
no.
I say they can't run. I don't think it'll be effective without all four.
So we can say an organization may not have one of those flows, but like Destiny
But
said, it wouldn't be
successful.
effective.
Because
it would
once
not
you
be
take
an
away
effective
one, it's going to
organization.
affect all the other ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you were saying.
It'd be like a domino effect.
Okay, then let me bring another question. One of my other questions that I asked in the discussion was if you can have like mixed negative and positive flows. So like if the self-structuring flow is not necessarily like positive, like it's a negative, because at the end, like towards the end of the book, it talks about like how an organization, I forget what it was, the four flows were present in the organization, but they weren't necessarily positive for the organization. They had to like start all over in order to make them better. So could you have a negative self-structuring flow and a positive membership negotiation and a negative activity coordination, and then I forget the
Positive with that one though.
mm-hmm.
Probably. It wouldn't necessarily. I don't think it would work out in the long run, but it would probably at least keep that business afloat for a little while until the problems arise through communication, and then they would have to be solved by communication, by restructuring either within or like on the outside with how they do business.
and fixing it.
Yeah.
I think
What do you
overall-
mean, like negative? You say like that
Like it-
part,
So like
that flow isn't
so like the-
necessarily functioning well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like it's just like steps, you know, like things come before. So like, let's say the member negotiation, if that's negative, you know, then there would be no use for the second step to be positive because you already like messed this one up, you know. So you're not gonna have that many members of an organization to go on to the next third and fourth step.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Those are my questions that I thought would be good to make the video longer. Okay.
We did good.
Okay, so
Group 1.
You wanna do it?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Do it. 1, 2,
Gucci.
3,
Oh,
Gucci.
Gucci.
my favorite thing.
I know.
Oh my god!
What? Did you hit
Pop.
it?
This
Oh.
shit pop, bro.